Hey everyone, it's Joe from greenlightsound.com, and today we've got a look at a new product from Slate Audio, headphones and software which together form the VSX, a headphone monitoring system that's supposed to simulate the sound of mixing in a well-treated, flat mixing environment, some of the best in the world actually. What this software and hardware combo tries to do is solve some of the most common problems with mixing on headphones or on monitors in less than ideal or untreated rooms. So the basic problems you have with mixing on headphones are number one, not all headphones have a flat frequency response. Number two, mixing on headphones is not the same experience as mixing on monitors in a good room due to the lack of crossfeed and room interaction. Crossfeed would be, a simple explanation would be, if you're mixing on speakers and you pan something all the way to the far right speaker, you're going to hear it predominantly on the right ear, but you're also going to hear some bleed into your left ear. In headphones, that does not happen. All the signal comes into your right ear. You don't get any in your left, so you don't have that same sort of experience of depth that you do mixing on speakers. Number three would be to get mixes that translate well to many different playback environments. And it's important to check your mixes on different systems like studio monitors, cars, earbuds, different headphones, and this tries to take care of that within this one package. So some of the old fixes for this problem were, number one, headphone correction for the non-flat frequency responsive headphones, mostly in the form of something like SonarWorks Reference 4, if I open that over here, which I use a lot. This is the profile I have for my Beyerdynamic DT880 Pro headphones, which are really bright in the top end, and it tries to counteract that with a corresponding frequency cut in that same area to create a flat response. For crossfeed, if we look at Good Hertz Can Opener, kind of solves some of those crossfeed issues, feeding some of that right signal into your left ear and that left ear signal into your right ear. For checking on different mix environments, you could use something like Audified's Mix Checker. But here we have three different sets of software plus a separate headphone. So VSX addresses all three of these issues in one package by having the software that's meant to be used with the hardware, this specific hardware, access to a bunch of different high-quality mixing environments, and mix referencing on different systems at the click of a button. And we're going to look at all that in just a second. So the hardware itself, the headphones themselves, they're not quite as sturdy or not as heavy, not as much metal as my Beyerdynamic DT880 Pros, but they're sturdy enough. They're definitely comfortable for long mix sessions. I've listened to them for hours on end and never gotten uncomfortable. They are closed back headphones, not open back, but it's got a nice cushion, a nice pad. It sits well on the ear for me. Now this will vary depending on somebody's head size and ear shape, but for me, they feel comfortable. Another thing about positioning on your ear, it's important that you really position, read the instructions that come with this, position on your ear well, because you're going to get a lot of high-end roll-off that happens if you don't position them well on your ear. In terms of driving these headphones, these are 37 ohm impedance headphones, so they're pretty low resistance. You can run them off of any interface's headphone amp, and they're going to sound okay. Now, I can say that I have compared these to my Apollo X6 headphone amp versus my Little Labs Monitor dedicated headphone amp. And the Monitor definitely brings out some more depth, clarity, and detail. It actually sounds a lot better with the Monitor, but that's a significant investment. It'll work okay with the headphone amp that you have included in your interface. But if you've got a dedicated headphone amp that's nice, they'll really, really shine. So just a quick look at the software to go over the controls. First of all, you can browse through the rooms up here, pick all the different listening environments and mixing spaces. On the home screen, you can set up 5 favorite mixing environments. You want to just get to presets with the click of the button. You right-click it, and you save it as a favorite. This 2SPC gives you a 2-second audio gap when you're switching monitors or switching rooms to kind of give yourself a palate cleanse, a brain cleanse, to give a better comparison between the two different spaces. We've got an EQ here. It's a very gentle EQ. If anything's not to your liking, you can tweak it as you want. A bypass switch, which turns it into the VSX HD linear emulation, which is just a flat headphone response. You can level match that bypass. This depth button is very, very subtle, but it'll give you a little bit more or less sense of the room you're in. You can choose the different monitoring systems or speakers you have in each environment in the middle mode here, and output level knob to go right here. So to go straight to my opinion here, the real winner, worth the price of admission alone, is going to be the Archon Studios midfield monitors. They seem to be the consensus winner with most users, and they sound absolutely fantastic. I would buy this software and these headphones for this mix environment and these speakers alone. The midfield speakers are ATC SC M150s. They're very detailed, nice flat response, pleasant to listen to. The near fields in this room are an Amphion system with a subwoofer, and the far fields are a Pelonis dual concentric setup. We're going to listen to all these in a few minutes, but the real winner, again, just my opinion, but it seems to be a lot of people's opinions, the Archon Studios midfield sound fantastic. Probably the second best mix environment for me is NRG Studios near field monitor, which is a pair of Yamaha NS10s with a subwoofer. They're great for picking up a lot of mid-range mix details. The midfields at NRG are ATC SCM25s, and the far fields are Oceanway HR 3.5s with extra sub in them. The room is definitely more lively than Archon for sure. The third best mix environment, in my opinion, is the HD linear setting, just the flat headphones. Used in conjunction with Can Opener, it's a great headphone listening experience. Some of the other headphone models here, we have the SA650, which is based on a Sennheiser HD650. Never used that pair of headphones, but it's good to have included. They are very popular. You've got the SA770 down here, which are based on Beyerdynamic 770s in both the 80 ohm and 250 ohm version, which you can choose from right down here. They're definitely bright, like my 880 Pros. So they must have modeled it well. It must be a common characteristic of Beyerdynamic headphones. The SA-M50 here is an Audio-Technica ATH M50X. We've also got the SA Pods, which are both Apple earbuds and AirPods, wired and wireless. These are an excellent inclusion since this will be the final playback format for many listeners. The electric car back over here is a Tesla. The luxury SUV is a Mercedes, and these are excellent for that dreaded car test. When you put together a great mix in your studio, you print it, you pop it in the car, and it sounds horrendous. This can allow you to check it, reference it without leaving your studio. Excellent inclusion. The boombox is also a great one. A typical setup would be to have your normal stereo monitoring, sometimes a mono source like an Auratone, and then what we would call a grot box or just a junky speaker to check it on. This boombox, typical, cheap, I think it's based on a Sony boombox, and it's great to hear what it sounds like on that type of playback system as well. Here we have the audiophile room, which is based on a Dynaudio Mroz C4 hi-fi system, and it's good for quick checking in this type of playback format. This is not one of my favorite rooms. A lot of people tend to like this one, but it doesn't seem to agree with me for some reason. Things sound okay in here, but for some reason they sound a little bit scooped. I'm going to play these back for you in a minute so you can hear what they sound like just for the room perspective so you can make your own judgment. And my least favorite room by far, and the one that most people who use this product seem to have a problem with, is the Howie Weinberg mastering room, which is PCM speakers. But something in the room seems too artificial and wide, almost phasey. It could be the room itself. Maybe we're just not used to hearing a room like this. I'm not sure. If you look at his resume, he's mixed some of the biggest and best sounding records of the last several decades. So maybe it's just a software flaw. Steve and Slate did say they're going to update this room. Hopefully that'll address some of the issues that people and I have with this one. And again, I'll play it back for you in a few minutes so you can get a sense for what it sounds like. So my number one tip with using this software is to pick a room. Try them all first, but pick a room and settle on it and mix and listen in that one environment only. I recommend the Archon Midfield to start with. They are fantastic sounding monitors. You can pick whatever one you like. I assume NRG is going to be a pretty popular choice as well, but don't try to switch between mixing environments all the time. Stick with one, either NRG or Archon or possibly the Howie Weinberg room. After you get your mix down, then check it on the HD linear mode just to see what it sounds like on headphones, on the boombox, on the earbuds, in the nightclub if you got bass heavy or EDM music, in the cars. But just number one, don't switch between different studios all the time when mixing. Another big tip would be before you mix, listen to a lot of reference material to acclimate yourself to the room you're mixing in. You can import the reference material right into your DAW, or there's a few system-wide options you can use to get this working with your system. We'll talk about those later. Another tip, especially in Studio One, I'm sure this can be set up in any other DAW, is to set up a Q mix. This one I call Cans. For now, it's got SonarWorks and Can Opener, but VSX would go on there too. And that would be the way you could monitor through your headphones without having to turn them off all the time when you print and mix. And you could keep on your separate speaker correction for your main monitors if you use it. For system-wide options, I highly recommend if you're on a Mac to check out Audio Hijack from Rogue Amoeba. This allows you to drop audio unit plugins between your system audio and output device. You can run any audio coming through your system through VSX. So if you want to listen to Spotify or Tidal or Amazon Music or Apple Music or whatever your streaming service is, or if you have your own stuff on a hard drive, the way to listen to it through the system without importing it into the DAW would be this system-wide Audio Hijack from Rogue Amoeba. And you can set up different profiles here. I've got my old headphone set up, a Slate VSX mode for the Archon midfield speakers, a VSX regular HD linear profile with can opener. You can easily pop those on and hear all your music from your system through VSX. If you're on Windows and you want a system-wide option, I think Equalizer APO supports VST for system-wide. Next thing I'd like to do is go through every single room here. Now, there's a big disclaimer. If you are listening on headphones that are not the VSX headphones, this is not going to sound right. The headphones are designed to work with the software. This is just to give you a sense of what these rooms are doing. It is not the frequency response you're going to be getting. But just to give you a sense of what these speakers and rooms kind of sound like, let's just play a loop of music and pop through these different rooms. We're going to start with the NRG room with the near field speakers. These are NS10s. I'll go through each one and scroll through each room. And there we have it, all the different models included here. And again, disclaimer, if you don't have the VSX headphones, it's not going to sound the same. It gives you kind of a sense of how that room interaction works. So my final verdict, this is an excellent concept and excellent execution. This is one of the best audio products to come out in years. And quick disclaimer, I'm not being paid by Slate. I purchased the system myself. This is my true opinion. So after several days with it, I can highly recommend it. It's got unparalleled depth for a headphone listening experience. And the one setup alone here, the Archon midfields, more than justify the cost of this product. If you had just this mixing environment with these headphones, you would have a great product already, but the inclusion of all the others makes it even better. You could even, if you wanted to, mix on your current setup, the headphones you have now, and just use VSX to check your mix on different systems. Different headphones, the boombox, the club, the SUV, the car, the earbuds, because that's something you would probably do anyway, and this allows you to save a lot of time without having to go to a separate space to do that. So there we have it, the excellent VSX from Steven Slate Audio. If you have any questions or comments, let me know in the comment section down below. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done so already so we can keep you in the loop as to what's coming up next, and I'll see you in the next one.